Hey, good morning. Good morning. Happy Saturday morning to you all. I'm so happy to be here and enjoying my awesome Saturday morning and celebrating with you. And if you happen to be joining me live, I hope you please say hello in the chat box. Tell me you're here. Tell me if you are celebrating something too. I'd love to celebrate with you. So as I do every Saturday morning, I share with you a chocolate recipe that I've made. And then what I do is I talk about 3 things that I'm celebrating, and it's usually related to awesome stuff that's happening in my life at the moment. And I like to read off what my viewers are celebrating too, so we can all celebrate together. So I made a really yummy recipe today, and it was sort of gonna be easy, and it kind of turned out, it did turn out to be easy, but it did turn out to be a little bit different than what I thought. So when I get right into it. So I decided to make some chocolate eggs, some dark chocolate covered eggs. So almost like, if you can imagine, like one of those Reese's peanut butter cups, the Easter version, right? Shaped like an egg. And I found a recipe online that was for like a healthier version with white chocolate. And so one of the things is she decided to make the white chocolate with some cocoa butter. So for those of you who don't know or haven't had a chance to watch my awesome chocolate breakfast with my friend Ciara, who owns the business Chocolate Pursuit, one of the things that she talks about is white chocolate really is chocolate. A lot of people don't think so. It's just made with the cocoa butter without the dark chocolate in it. So it's basically, still chocolate. But if you go and buy yourself like some white chocolate chips, it's not going to be made of cocoa butter usually. So it's basically just made of like milk and sugar. And so I thought what I would do is make the peanut butter middle and then just use white chocolate chips and make my life easier. And the recipe actually suggests you take like coconut, shredded coconut, and you mix it up with some macadamia nuts and cocoa butter and kind of create your own. And I wish I had done that because when I got the chocolate chips, they didn't have the cocoa butter in them. So I thought, well, I'll try it anyway. And it just it had that white chocolate taste that's a fake chocolate taste, right? Which I just didn't like. So I didn't want to use it. So I only made one with it. This is what it looks like. Then I put a little bit of dark chocolate on it, and I decided to make the rest of them with dark chocolate. And I didn't prepare for that. So I had like sort of some scraps left over of some Lindt dark chocolates, and I had some pitch dark chips that, again, I had from before when I had that chocolate episode with Ciara. So for those of you who haven't seen that, by the way, definitely should go watch that. I'll put that link in the description below. It's really great. It has like a kind of a full education on chocolate. Or maybe I shouldn't say full. It's like a little teaser education on chocolate because that's what she does for her business. So lots of great information in there for you about chocolate. And I think we talked a little bit about white chocolate. And so you can find out a little bit more about it from her on that episode. But for this episode, what I did was I decided to make the eggs with the dark chocolate. And then I took a little bit of the leftover white chocolate that I didn't use, and I just dyed it with a little bit of pink dye and then made my chocolate eggs look pretty. So now they look a little bit like chocolate eggs that you would buy that are pretty at the store. And the peanut butter filling, by the way, is, oh my gosh, okay, if you were a kid and you like peanut butter balls, I don't know if you ever made peanut butter balls. Me and my sister used to make them all the time. It would take like peanut butter and mix it with like, I think it was some like powdered milk solids and like some honey and some sugar. And this is actually healthier. What they suggest you take the peanut butter, mix it with almond meal, and then a little bit of maple syrup. So that's what the middle's made of. So it's actually really healthy. Like it's almost like a little protein bomb here. And then we've got, the dark chocolate on top, which is really good for you too. So this is like really, really good stuff. And I just know it's gonna taste good. So here we go. Give it a try. Oh yeah. The dark chocolate turned out a really good flavor, especially since I mixed a couple different kinds of chocolates in there. So, but which I kind of had to do to be creative, right? So, really digging it. Oh yay! See Sherry's here. Welcome, Sherry. I'm so glad you're here. If you get a chance, sorry, I'm still enjoying my chocolate. Tell me what you're celebrating today and what you're up to on this beautiful, beautiful day. It is gorgeous outside. So one thing I will say about the dark chocolate. So normally milk chocolate, what they suggest you do is you put it in a double boiler, right? And you add just a little bit of like olive oil or coconut oils, what I added, and it helps make it a little bit more melty and a little easier. But the problem is if you put too much in there, then it kind of gets melty in your hands, essentially, unless you keep it in the freezer or in the fridge. So I kind of keep it in the fridge just in case. And I think it's probably better and healthier and will last longer if you do that anyway. But I will say, the white chocolate, when I made this, I didn't add any cocoa or any coconut oil or olive oil to it. And so it was really kind of thick. And so when I dipped my egg in here, it was like almost too thick. But I will say about it, when it was all hardened, it actually is a little easier to handle. Isn't like, you can tell, like the white chocolate's not melting on my fingers, but the dark chocolate is. It's getting on my fingers. So you could consider like putting in a little bit less of the oil or none at all, and it will be a little bit of a harder shell. So it'll be interesting to see what this tastes like. I bet with the dark chocolate on this will be really yummy. I think with the white chocolate by itself, I just thought the white chocolate would be really good with peanut butter, but I just didn't like that too sweet fake chocolate flavor. So I really wish I had made, because I bet the recipe that I found was really good with the homemade white chocolate. So anyway, highly recommend the recipe. I'll put it in the description below also. And by the way, the recipe that I made came from, I found them on Instagram. They're called the Minimalist Baker. And I highly recommend her Instagram channel. I'll put her Instagram on the description below too. Just really awesome, yummy looking recipes. And they're mostly vegan. So, and I actually didn't know that when I first started following her. I just loved all her pictures, and I loved like the minimalist sort of style that she had in her photography. So I thought that was really cool. But she didn't have, I didn't really, I mean, like I think I mentioned her last week. She had so many chocolate recipes. I was like, oh, I got to follow this chick. And then I realized that she had a vegan kind of spin to her stuff, which is awesome for those of you vegan people out there who have a hard time finding really yummy recipes. She's got some great ones. I mean, some really, really good ones. So highly recommend her and her Instagram channel, which is just beautiful. So let's get to the celebrations. It looks like Sherry is saying she's headed for the forest. And then your daughter and the grandkids, looks like, yep, are coming over to play. I love it. So that'll be super fun. And when you say a run through the forest, are you doing like a, like a little 5K or something, or just like a fun little hike in the forest? I'm curious. And are you going to park close by, or what are you doing? So, or are you going skiing? That would be interesting to find out. So also, real quick on those peanut butter eggs, they're so great for breakfast, right? I mean, they're actually, if you're gonna have chocolate for breakfast, that's like the way to have it. Like, it's better to make something like this than to buy like one of those peanut butter bars you buy at the store, where it has a little bunch of all extra ingredients you don't need. This is so good, and it's good for you. And it'd be a great little, like, if you're in a rush and you need to get out the door, amazing. And it's that time of year, right, to make the chocolate egg. So why not make them really good for you and yummy at the same time? That's something you can feel good about eating for breakfast. Not that you have to do that, because as far as I'm concerned, you can might as well just eat a chocolate chip cookie for breakfast if that's what makes you happy, Start your day right. Do the things you love right away first thing in the morning. All right, now we'll get to the celebrations. So the first thing I'm celebrating is creativity. I thought it was appropriate today because I had to be a little creative with the recipe. And I also got this t-shirt this week. I went to an event and saw my friend Ciara from Pregame. She spoke at the International Women's Day. She did such a great job. It was so impressive. And I also got a chance to meet another YouTuber there. So cheers to meeting new friends. That's been awesome too. So I love that I got this free t-shirt. So, and creativity is also, if you think about it, free. Like, we all have this opportunity to be creative in our lives, and creativity can bring so much prosperity to your life. So I am so appreciative to the free things like creativity and being able to use our brains in creative ways and come up with spontaneous recipes on the fly. And I'm actually really happy with how these turned out, because they're so pretty. They're so much prettier than just the white chocolate ones would have been. So anyway, I love it. And then the second thing I'm celebrating today is my health. I have been so sick all week long. I have had this terrible cold. And I just basically used the excuse to kind of pamper myself. Took a couple of baths, hot showers. I had this one particular hot shower that was flipping amazing. Sometimes a hot shower just feels really, really good. And lots of time in my bed, lots of work time in my bed. And so it was just really nice to just, I guess, chill. One thing I will say, though, is I definitely missed my dancing, being active. It was really hard to, make myself stay in bed. I kind of knew I needed to, so I guess it wasn't that hard. But because I just, when I would get up, I'd have my head would be pounding. So even though I wanted to get up and dance, I knew I would feel more miserable if I did. But I will say last night I was like feeling a little bit better, even though I had a super busy day yesterday. I was like, you know what, I'm just going to go really quick and go to dance class. And I went last night and I feel so much better today. So I think it was just exactly what I needed to tip me over the edge to feel better. So I definitely am appreciating dance and how I think sometimes movement can help you process out a cold, but I think you also have to know when it's good to do it and when it's not. And I think the only way to know is just trust your body, how it feels and what sounds good. And so like I spoke at this event on Wednesday at Pregame, and I was fine like almost all day when I came home, and I was like, whoa, I'm feeling awesome. And all of a sudden I was like, oh my God, I feel like crap. And I like literally crawled in bed with all my clothes on and everything. And that was actually Wine Wednesday. And so I didn't do my Wine Wednesday like normal because I was so exhausted. I just couldn't do it. So my head started pounding. I think all my drugs wore out. So I decided, I'll just skip Wine Wednesday this week and stay in bed. So I took good care of my body and listened carefully to it. So yay to health. And then the last thing I'm celebrating today is speed. I love getting stuff done fast. I love it when things just start clicking. I feel like some things are starting to click. And I love it when I can help people get stuff done fast. One of the things that I talked about with my talk on Wednesday was all about finding your ideal character, which is one of the primary things I do for my clients is help them understand who their ideal character is. And one of the things I think is great is that could take a lot of time. A lot of people take like years trying to figure out who the ideal client is, but hire me, then I can get it done for you quickly. So quick is awesome. And also yesterday I met with my friend Emily, and we had lunch, and she did my nails. She has this new nail product that she's basically has this non-toxic business. She's all these products that are like a lot less toxins than you find in the normal grocery store in your makeup, in your cleaning products. And now she found this nail product that is like very low toxic. It's not completely non-toxin, but it's very, very low toxin because a lot of the toxins that come from nail polish come from the actual polish aromas. And so this is actually real nail polish that's on like a sheet, and you basically just take it off and put it on so it's already halfway dry before you put it on. And you basically it's like you stick it on like a sticker, and then you trim the edge. And look at these things. They're so great. And what's awesome, even more awesome, is she put them on my nails when we were having margaritas. What a great way to get your nails done, right? And it was like less than 10 minutes. And I didn't have to wait for it to dry. It's fantastic. So great. So cheers to speediness. All right, Sherry, let's see what you are celebrating today. You are saying that the eggs look good, and the grandkids had way too much Oreo and chocolate eggs yesterday. Chocolate everywhere. Yeah, that's the way to celebrate. You know what I'm saying? So celebrate with your grandkids, celebrate life, celebrate Easter. And Sherry is also saying that she is going hiking, running. You're going in the running trail at Point Defiance, which is a big, huge park up in Seattle, the third largest urban park in the U.S. And I remember we talked about this before, I think on one of the Talk Out for Breakfast, Sherry. So I'll put the link for that description down below. If you're ever in the Seattle area, you should go check out Point Defiance. Here in Portland, we also have a really huge park, Forest Park. In fact, it might even be the first or second largest urban park in the U.S. I'd have to check that out. And I'll find out and put that in the link below also. And Sherry's also saying she's celebrating warm sun and Gary's new job and your new office. Yay! All kinds of fun stuff to celebrate. And you moved it back into the garage, your office. Awesome. So you must have done I think you were working on some remodeling a little bit for your office, Sherry. So that's great. And now that the sun's out, it's probably not as cold to be out in the garage. Hopefully you have a good space heater though. Or maybe you have a real heater out there. I don't know. But we've had some great sunshine today too. It's really beautiful. It's supposed to get up to like 70 degrees this week, which is crazy. And it's perfect timing though, because it's starting to really feel like spring, and it's daylight savings time tonight, right? Or whatever that is, you spring forward, right? So we lose an hour, but we get an extra hour in the evenings, which is really nice. For those of us who are YouTubers and we want to film at 5 o'clock, that's even better because it's going to be a little bit lighter and we'll have a nice natural light to do our YouTubing. And let's see, Sherry's saying it's in Tacoma, which is 30 miles from Seattle. Okay, so the point Defiance is in Tacoma, not Seattle, but that's close enough. Like if you were visiting Seattle and you had, you know, time to rent a car and go for a hike, that's close enough. Tacoma's pretty close. My cousin Robin, who often joins us here on Chocolate for Breakfast, is from the Tacoma area, Sherry. So she's in your neck of the woods. And Sherry's also saying that she's sorry I'm sick and Gary's been sick for quite a while and you just run or ski it out of you. Yeah, that's kind of what I usually do too, Sherry. I usually go for a run and or dance or both. And it really, I feel like it really does help. Like, but again, trust your body. Like I said, like when I was stood up and my head was pounding, I just knew there was a couple days there I just couldn't do anything. So, but I'm so glad I went last night. It felt so good. And now I'm all jazzed to go to dance today. So cheers to more dance. And I'm sorry, Gary's been sick for a while. Maybe he should take our lead and like go for a run or go for a dance, right? What do you think? Love it. All right. Thank you so much, Sherry, for being here. If you happen to be joining me on the replay, I highly suggest that you say hi to me in the comments. Tell me what you're celebrating. I'm telling you, the more we celebrate awesome stuff in our life, the more awesome things come to our life. And celebrating is kind of like an exercise in gratitude. So celebrate all that awesome stuff that's happening to you. And tell me what kind of chocolate you love or what else you love to eat for breakfast. It's funny, I went to a pregame. We have this thing called Home Team. And so what we basically do is we go and we set our goals for the week at this morning thing with some other, you know, fellow creatives and entrepreneurs. And one time, like we always have like this sort of warming up question to kind of get us into it and kind of get to know each other a little better. And one of the questions one time was, how do you like to eat your eggs? And it was, I swear it was like one of the most popular questions ever because everyone loves eggs. I mean, most people do, but like everyone there loved eggs and everyone had like a different way of making eggs that they loved. And it was just hilarious just to hear all the different ways that they love to eat eggs. And I was going to say, I remember thinking to myself, gosh, could I have chocolate with my eggs? Would that be weird? And I thought, wait a minute. One of my favorite recipes I've ever made for chocolate for breakfast was a German pancake which is, you know, primarily made of eggs and putting some cocoa powder in it to make it chocolate. And it was so good. It almost tastes like a chocolate souffle. If you haven't seen that episode, you should definitely watch it. It was so good. In fact, it's kind of making me hungry. Maybe I'll make that for breakfast tomorrow morning. I've already had my breakfast today, but I might have to do that tomorrow. So anyway, I'll put the description for that video and the link below too. All right. Thanks again, Sherry. I appreciate you being here. Anyone who's watching this on the replay, and I'm wishing you all an amazing, awesome, fantastic Saturday. And hopefully we will see you Wednesday for Wednesday with Wine with Jen. All right. See you later. Bye.